He wrapped his arms around her like no one was watching, except 65,000 Coldplay fans, a stadium-sized jumbotron, and the entire internet were watching. Within seconds, what looked like a soft embrace turned into a full-blown public spectacle. The crowd roared. Chris Martin cracked a joke. But behind the scenes, two marriages silently unraveled. A billion-dollar tech empire began to spiral. And one 6-second clip blew open a secret they never meant to share. It all started on a warm night at Fenway Park. Coldplay's Kiss Cam danced across the crowd, a playful break between ballads. Then it landed on one particular couple, sitting closer than most, leaning into each other like no one else existed. They didn't flinch. They didn't laugh awkwardly. They didn't act surprised. They acted caught. That couple wasn't just two random fans. That was Andy Byron, CEO of the rising tech giant Astronomer, a man known for preaching ethics and transparency in Silicon Valley. And right next to him, Kristen Kitt, Astronomer's newly appointed head of HR. The very person responsible for enforcing those ethics. Suddenly, this wasn't a romantic concert moment. It was a bombshell. Chris Martin tried to play it off with a joke. Either they're having an affair or they're just really shy. The audience laughed. The internet laughed harder, but Andy Byron? He wasn't laughing at all. His face, that embrace, and Kristen's lean-in ricocheted through Reddit, Slack threads, TikTok edits, and tech blog headlines. It became meme material overnight, but to Astronomer's employees, it was validation. Validation of months of whispers, because this wasn't just about a hug. It was about what that hug represented. A married CEO caught being too close to a direct report. An HR exec compromised by the very person she reports to, and a company that marketed itself as a bastion of modern workplace values. Now trending for all the wrong reasons, Redditors began dissecting the clip frame by frame. One moment showed Kristen turning away sharply. Another showed Andy ducking out of frame like someone who realized he'd just been exposed. One viewer summed it up: they didn't act surprised. They acted caught. From that moment on, this wasn't a concert clip. It was the beginning of a corporate crisis. Employees at Astronomer allegedly started buzzing immediately. One anonymous staffer told a tech outlet, this wasn't shocking. Everyone's been whispering about them for months. Now that 6-second video had cracked everything wide open, and while Twitter laughed and TikTok speculated Andy Byron, he went into fight mode. But not publicly, behind closed doors. Insiders say he didn't release a statement. He called his lawyers. According to multiple sources, Andy was livid. He didn't see Chris Martin's comment as harmless. He felt ambushed, humiliated, set up on a global stage. And yes, reports say he even considered legal action against Chris Martin himself. But here's the thing, anyone who's been to a concert knows what the signs say. Cameras are rolling. Disclaimers are everywhere. You will be filmed. Fenway Park confirmed it. Coldplay's team backed it up. Andy had no legal standing. None, but that didn't stop him from trying. While his legal team scrambled, the internet was 5 steps ahead. Reddit detectives unearthed a blurry photo showing Andy and Kristen arriving together at the venue. No assistants. No entourage. Just the two of them. Matching lanyards. Relaxed body language. Familiar glances. It didn't look like a casual coincidence. It looked like a date. And then the clip hit critical mass. Frame by frame, people noticed more. Kristen leaned in. Andy smiled. Then the second the jumbotron appeared, she turned her body fast. He ducked like he'd been caught red-handed. A viewer commented, that's not surprise. That's damage control. But the silence afterwards spoke even louder. No statement from Andy. No denial from Kristen. No cryptic posts. Just nothing, except silence has a funny way of making people dig deeper, and the deeper they dug, the worse it got. Inside Astronomer, the atmosphere changed overnight. The once admired CEO now got side eyes in the hallway. Kristen allegedly vanished from internal Zooms. HR updates stopped. Her LinkedIn went dark. One employee was overheard saying, how can she enforce rules nobody believes she follows anymore? And outside the company, things weren't much better. Kristen's husband, Andrew Cavett, unfollowed her on Instagram. Andy's wife removed his last name from her social profiles. No angry statements. Just quiet, deliberate changes. And that silence, louder than any press release. Then came the next twist. Employees spoke out anonymously. Some claimed Kristen frequently joined Andy on trips that weren't exactly business essential. Others said they saw her leaving his office late, laughing, alone, always after hours. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, it did. 2 photos surfaced. One from a holiday party where Andy and Kristen sat together, far from their assigned seats. The second, a now-deleted Instagram selfie Kristen posted, captioned only, "Some people understand you without speaking." For most people watching the scandal unfold, that was the turning point. This wasn't just workplace gossip. This was intentional. This was planned. This was real. And then Andy vanished. The once public CEO stopped giving interviews. No new posts. No conference appearances. Not even a passive, happy to be back tweet. Just radio silence. Insiders say that silence wasn't strategic. It was panic. His legal team allegedly told him the truth. There's no lawsuit. There's no winning. Going after Coldplay would only make him look weaker. So instead, he pivoted to damage control. Quiet meetings. Discreet calls. A hush-hush plan to contain the fallout before it burned the whole house down. Meanwhile, Kristen was said to be rethinking everything. Her silence, once seen as protection, now looked like preparation. Sources say she started consulting outside PR teams to salvage her professional image, a subtle move that screamed one thing: resignation incoming. But right as the internet began to forget, it reignited. Another photo emerged. Andy and Kristen walking into Fenway hours before the concert, no staff, no distractions. Just them, and suddenly, it all clicked for fans. They didn't get caught on camera. They got caught too early. With that, the narrative flipped. Andy, the man who built a tech empire on integrity, was now trending for hypocrisy. Kristen, the HR lead responsible for enforcing boundaries, had seemingly crossed the biggest one. And astronomer? Facing internal review, media pressure, and a board allegedly ready to push Andy out, the only question left wasn't if he'd step down. It was when, and how loud the headlines would be when he did. Meanwhile, Chris Martin kept the tour going. At the next stop, when the kiss cam landed on another awkward couple, he smiled and waved, but said nothing. Even he knew, one off-the-cuff joke could ignite a fire you can't put out. So here's where we're at. A CEO in hiding. An HR leader on the edge of resignation. A billion-dollar company imploding quietly, and a global pop star who accidentally pulled the pin, all because of a hug. And no, this story isn't over. According to one plugged-in source, Kristen isn't going quietly. And the next twist might just reveal whether this was innocent timing or a secret that was never supposed to go public. So buckle up, because tomorrow, we're digging into the story insiders are scrambling to shut down.